If your timing chain fails, it leads to bent valves, cracked head, problems with pistons, sometimes to fatal engine failure. So this is probably the last thing you will want with your engine to happen. But how can you avoid this? How can you prolong the life of the timing chain in your engine? Well, first of all, you should remember that chains are nowadays quite thin and don't really have the longevity you want them to have. The average chain in a modern car will live about 90,000 to 120,000 miles, and then they may jump or even break. Also, the tensioners are not of the highest quality and they may just stop tensioning your chain, which will lead to a breakdown. In this video, I'm talking about 5 most important factors that can prolong the lifespan of your chains. So the first one is regular oil changes. Your chain is lubricated by oil. It's very important to keep it lubricated by clean and high quality oil. If the oil is contaminated, it will not do its job correctly. Also, the oil lubricates the tensioner. It's important for the tensioner because if it's not lubricated, it will not work the way it should. Tensioners have very thin oil passages, and if the oil is thick, old, inefficient, or maybe just contaminated, your tensioner will just not work. So changing oil at least once a year or once every 10,000 miles is extremely important. The second factor is driving habits. You shouldn't make the engine suffer. You shouldn't tow more than manufacturer allows you to tow in this car. You shouldn't drive this car like a crazy racer. You shouldn't drive your car at very high RPM for a long time. And it's very important to let your engine warm up the first 1 or 2 minutes after you start it in the morning. If you abuse your engine, you shouldn't be very surprised that your timing chain may live 40 or 50,000 miles and then just break. The third factor is the chain tensioner. So the tensioner is a special mechanism that pushes on the chain with the help of the plastic shoe. It's very important to keep the chain tensioned all the time. So if the tensioner is working correctly, it will keep the chain with the constant tension. But if the tensioner fails, your chain will most likely jump the same moment. As I said before, tensioners really rely on oil. It's important to have your oil clean, but every tensioner has also its own life expectancy. So you should look into the driver's manual and find out if your manufacturer tells that you should replace your timing chain and/or timing tensioner with a certain interval. The fourth factor is rattling noise.
Oh, there it is!
In 90% of cases, before your chain jumps or breaks, it will make some rattling noise. So you will start the engine and you will hear it rattle. It may rattle for a year or it may rattle for a week before the problem happens. If you hear the rattling noise from your engine, immediately go to the repair shop. They will check your timing chain, they will check your tensioner and will tell you that maybe you will need to replace them. Of course, rattling can come from different sources, it's not only timing chain, so it's important not to just buy the timing chain, spend your money and have all the things done in the shop. You should just check it before you spend your money. And the fifth factor is the quality of chain and tensioners. Even OEM chains won't last forever. It's important to remember that a modern chain will last approximately 100,000 miles. After that, you should think about changing it, even if it doesn't rattle or make any other noise. Thin chains will stretch over time, and because of this, they may jump. Also, it's not uncommon for a tensioner to get stuck and stop tensioning your chain. When you are buying a new chain and tensioner, you should go for OEM options. Aftermarket chains are usually very thin and they don't live long at all. But you should also remember that the labor for replacing the chain is not that cheap. So if your chain has already lasted about 150,000 miles, I would recommend replacing it with a new one, with a new OEM timing chain and tensioner, even though it may not rattle or show any other signs of the problem.